Well, let's go back on track here. Talk about the good old days here. Bill's trying to expand to go national. We mentioned that through your syndicated program efforts, you get 70% of the United States an opportunity to see this show.
Mm-hmm.
Are you
That's a
guys
good
trying
start.
to play follow the leader maybe with Vince, see what he's doing and let him be proof of concept? Then we'll go
Conrad, we're
compete
just trying
there.
to build a network to promote live events. That's all. I don't think we're following Vince would have been like following the Dumont Network or some of these other early syndicators and stations or groups that had multiple television shows. I had a television show in multiple markets. Obviously, you look at the leader of the market in any business, and what are they doing right? What mistakes have they made that we don't want to replicate? But primarily, what have they done right to put them in this position? What are the elements that they have in place to make this machine work? So we, as far as that's concerned, we obviously paid attention to what Vince was doing.
We should mention that the UWF debut, the launch, if you will, takes place, ironically enough, when you're working with Jim Crockett Promotions for the Jim Crockett Senior Memorial Cup at the Superdome. How did Crockett and Watts seem to get along?
I thought they got along pretty good. Caution. They approached each other, I think, maybe with some degree of caution. They both knew what they were dealing with. They're dealing with wrestling promoters. And unfortunately, their predecessors haven't been so kind to that profession. They got bad reps, some of them. Everybody's looking for a job, some con job, or how can I make more money, or how can we do this, or whatever. So they approached each other cautiously, but professionally. I thought they got along pretty good, actually. They'd laugh, have a drink, eat a steak. They were basically on the same page because Jimmy let Dusty do all the booking for that show. That was Dusty's gig. So Cowboy helped create the American Dream in Florida, working as a booker for Eddie Graham. So he and Dusty got along well and had a long-standing, respectful relationship. Now, they didn't always get along or always agree, but they had fun working together. They fed off each other. And that Oklahoma-Texas rivalry was prominent, believe it or not, in their just kibitzing, their dialogue. They had fun with each other.
Let's talk about what happened here. April 19th, 1986. We've got two shows in the same day. The matinee show in the Superdome does 3,500 fans. This is part of the Memorial Cup. That evening, 13,000 fans are there. That sounds like a hell of a house, and it is. But just 3 years prior, you guys were running a Superdome show here with Junkyard Dog and Mr. Olympia on top in a steel cage, and you're drawing 21,000 people. Is that just a sign of the times for the territory, do you think?
It might be because JYD was over more than the tournament. He was hot, and that was a hot-ass angle. And Jerry Stubbs, right? Mr. N.E., the masked man? I believe it is. Hell of a hand. Underrated. Doesn't get the credit that he deserves. One of those Southern-schooled pro wrestlers that knew everything and could work with anybody. He was great with pace. He let things process. So in other words, he told his joke and he allowed the audience to laugh. So I think that might be something about giving Dog some credit. And Ernie and Bill had Dog ready. They had him hot. People were dying to see this match. That was a big house for us. But there's been others there that were similar, but that was a big house, no doubt. I helped promote that tournament. I brought in Dusty and Baby Doll, and we had radio in studio. And you've done a lot of media, obviously, to get in studio at multiple stations in the same day is not easy.
No.
You got to block your time. You got to, all this other shit. So we hit the market hard. I worked out a deal with the chicken place, Louisiana chicken, Popeyes.
Popeyes, yeah.
Yeah, I should know that by heart. It's probably running in my veins. But I did a deal with Popeyes where we had a coupon that was forced distributed. In other words, it went to every bag of Popeyes that went out the door in all that region. And the coupon was a dandy now. Upper level seats, $5. $5 with coupon. So, we promoted the hell out of it. A lot of the matches are cold. And I think the guys are probably thinking the concept, the wide variety of stars, this huge inventory of talent will be enough. But it wasn't. That territory was used to having personal issues settled at big shows. And the cup wasn't over. Rivalries and blood and guts were over. So the show was a different presentation than that Mid-South audience was used to seeing.
Let's talk a little bit about maybe when Bill realized there was a problem in New Orleans, the home of the Superdome. He's going to run here again in June. So this is April of '86, but when he's back in June, he wrote of this in his book. One of our advanced publicity guys liked to call escort services when we were in town. He called me before the summer show and said, "I've called every escort service in the book and they're all closed." These escort services had page after page of huge ads in the yellow pages in the New Orleans phone book, ads that cost a lot of money, and every one of them had gone out of business. On the face of it, you might not see the significance and might be wondering, what the hell does that have to do with wrestling in the Superdome? But he's trying to make a point that the oil recession is really devastating the local economy and all of the, extra income, the disposable income.
That's a key word right there. The disposable income, it drained. It got dry at some of those oil wells. You had a region of the United States that was so strongly dependent on oil and gas, and that bottom just went crazy, gone, boom. Millionaires became broke overnight. And so the irony was our television ratings increased during this time. And of course, you figured it out. Well, it cost you nothing to sit home and watch television.
That's right.
And that's what they were doing. But the ratings were scary good. If you're a booker or a promoter or whatever, or cowboy, you'd salivate because of this audience that you have in these markets. But the audience was there. I'm sure they wanted to come. And even though we had very moderate ticket prices, always a low end ticket to get you in. But shoot, man, no money. And we're shooting some good angles. Like I said, it must have been pretty good, Connie, because the ratings are up.